Hey, what's up, people? This is Wyre the Lion. Welcome to Behind the Song. There was a time Homeboys was doing an event called Jam Down, and Cecile and Chris Martin were headlining that event. So I was like, you know what, I would want her to ask him. And so I talked to DJ Jonah and asked him, do you think you can ask Cecile whether we can do a joint project together? He's like, you know what, I like that idea. Let me talk to G also, see what we can do. So I gave him an instrumental, and I also I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and work on a remix for She Said That as well. And so I sent him both, and he's like, you know what, I think I like this idea of the remix, because guys know the song, it might take off because of the remix. So when we sent her both, she actually liked the new one, instrumental, but she was like, you know what, let me voice it, She Said That thing. So I remember getting to the studio. We had done the production with Dilly. Dilly was working on at Homeboys, and he played for me what Cecile did. She had killed that tune. She had buried it. My guy, just the intro, I was like, this is madness. So may I list now my verse? I was crazy. So I think they came to Nairobi about a week after, because the song had been playing only for a week. And I met her during the sound check. I met Chris as well. And Chris told me, like, you're the guy who sang the Uprising song. And that's why I knew, man, this rhythm thing, man, it's actually getting played, because Chris was on the same rhythm and he killed, and I love his song on that rhythm. He murdered it. I was like, yeah, for sure, let's talk more after this. They did sound check and it was done. So during the show at night, Chris opened the show, did his thing, killed the show, then Cecile did her thing. Now, nobody knew I was going to come on stage with her. So it's like halfway through a show, she's like, yo, you know what? Guys, I have a surprise for you. Then the beat started. Dun, dun, dun.
Remix! Bad girl now, Wyre. I forget you what I'm saying. Love check on the case. Tell a boy, where we want.
It was crazy. Now the crowd, I never get over that footage, man. I think we shot the video on the next day while she was on the way to the airport. And yeah, man, that's how we came up with the video. So that song really took off. I remember a few months after getting in touch with Peter and Gramps Morgan, I reached out to them through the lady who used to do their bookings, and she suggested the idea to them, and they were like, okay, send us, let's see what idea you have. And that's how it worked. I worked on Guarantee. Dilly again, dude, where are you? Yeah. Man, we had some long night sessions with Dilly, man.
Baby, come and love me, let me show you how me want, treat you from the start. True loving from me, never let that thing try to break me apart.
I worked on the rhythm, we sent it, and so I got very positive response from them, because they told their connect that, yeah, we thought we might have a hard time, but you already have the sound. So of course they killed it and buried it as well, man. Man, vocally, I grew up on Morgan Heritage, yeah. So you know these are like, when you're thinking vocally, what's the bar? Yeah, they definitely are. They gave me some priceless advice, man, in regards when it comes to my career, man. And I'll be forever grateful for that. We shot the video and we dropped it, man. So for me, that was very humbling, for the fact that they agreed to work with me. I was like, my guy, I think here we've gotten something happening. Now, I remember at some point there was Sepetuka in Nairobi, one of the first Sepetukas that happened, and Alaine had come to perform. I was one of the opening acts. Those were myself, STL, I can't remember who else it was, and myself, and Alaine now was performing. Now, funny enough, we didn't get to talk with Alaine at that point. We opened the show, we killed it was crazy, but we didn't get to, I saw it backstage at some point, but you know, the hassle of just going on stage and stuff. So me and my hustler self, I got in touch with the management team, and I asked them, yo, you know, I'd really like to do a project with Elaine. How can we go about it? So she reached out to her, and they were like, okay. She was like, okay, send me the idea, let me see if it's workable. Dilly, where you at? Worked on the bit, but this time now I produced this in my studio. Yeah. We did it in Love Child Records, yeah. And Dilly was working as a producer in my studio at that time. Yeah, and I worked on the beat. I did my verse and I did half the hook, and we sent it. Alaine went quiet. That was the longest 1 week of my of my life. I was like, oh man. Anyway. But we tried. So I got an email from her. She's like, hey, Wyre, I listened to the song. And I love it. You're a wicked artist. Backflips, my guy. Backflips, my guy. Yeah? So I remember I was doing a show in Eldoret, and after getting back to the hotel after the show, I get an email. I see a Dropbox. You know. So Abuko was saying, your Wi-Fi bundles, my guy. Yeah. And for sure, she had sent the vocals. Man, the vocals, she had killed it. She had sung in Swahili. She did, you know me, I like Alaine as a singer, yes. But I love her DJing side. And she had done both. And then she sang Swahili. Ah, my guy, I died. I was crazy, man. I sent to Dilly the vocals, he couldn't believe, he flipped. Now that song. So anyway, I made plans. Around the same time, I remember G-Money teased it on a there's a session he used to do, I think on Tuesday nights. Like a dancehall thingy, 2-3 hour session that he used to do. So he sampled the song. I was trending for like 2 days. I'm like, what's happening? People are calling me, my guy, when are you dropping this song? You know what I mean? Around the same time, I got nominated for the International Reggae Awards, the Ramas. They were being held in Florida. So, but when I looked at the category, I was up against Chronixx. I was up against D Major. I was up against Tommy Lee Sparta, man. You know your dancer, you know who Tommy is. I was like, anyway, at least I'm glad I'm on the list. You know, I'm happy. Thank God, man. At least you know, they considered. So I was around the same time I was planning a mini tour. So I was going to be in the US anyway. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to attend the awards. I got a request from them to perform as well. So yeah, got to Florida. We had rehearsals with the band. We had a crazy band. The music director was Dean Fraser. Combination of different instrumentalists. The drummer I think was from Shaggy's band. It was crazy. We're doing rehearsals at the guys who sang a lot in a circle. Yeah. And I remember we were at rehearsals at some point, and we were also rehearsing with Romain Virgo. He has lungs from here to I don't know where. But for me, I was just humbled to be with guys I've grown up listening to all around me. You know, Dean is Uko Maze. He's like, play Sino Mokosa, you know, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Are you losing your mind at this point?
Thoroughly. Sijakwambia juu red carpet. Hey. So rehearsals went well, and yeah, came the day of the event. So I'm on the red carpet chilling like this. I'm seeing Etana passing like this. I'm seeing Third World. Man, you know Third World. If you know your reggae, you know Third World. Third World are standing there. The Vegas, ndio amepita. Nani, I'm like, man, music thing is not so bad. Eh? I'm here being interviewed by Winford for on stage in Jamaica. I'm like, man, anyway, I'm glad we figured it. So we got to perform and we threw it down because I remember I taught them a dance at some point. We called it the Picky Picky dance. So at the end of the show, everybody was saying Picky Picky. They're all doing that Picky dance. Now, shortly after my category came up, they're like, the nominees are Chronixx, man, Imenda. Lakini it was real, guys. Tommy Lee Sparta, D Major, and Wyre. Guys, thanks, guys. I'm humbled I was here. Hata pronounce ni shida. Haina noma. Bro, huh? Yeah, I'd gone with Ian, by the way. And the winner is Wyre. That's me, right? Funny enough, the guy announcing the category, he was like, next thing he said was, unfortunately, Wyre is not around. The crowd was like, what do you mean? We've just done the Picky Picky. He's here. So I smiled, I went, squared my word, man. So I was like, yo, continue doing the Picky Picky. They screamed. It was crazy, man. Man, for me, that was one of my favorite moments in my career, man. Yeah. Getting off the plane in Jamaica, and there was some cops at the end of the tube thing from so meeting these, passing these cops, and I'm hearing, yeah man, you don't know, I whole heap of heat and sunshine in Jamaica and thing. So I'm like, these guys talk like this, man. You know the accent of cops from back home, man. Yes. So I'm hearing these guys speaking patois, man. It sounded so cool. Yeah. So like, hey, Jamda. Yeah, man. So Jamaica was amazing, and luckily G Money was also in Jamaica at that time. He was on leave at that point, so he was also quite a good host, taking me to all these places, man. We got to finally meet up with Alaine, plan for the video shoot, and yeah, we shot the video in Kingston, man, and in Blue Mountain as well.
Says she want a man who be faithful. She don't want a man who be so ungrateful. She don't need a love to be painful. More time for your heart, she be grateful.
Why you make me wanna say nakupenda pia pia, aha nakupenda pia. You make me wanna say nakupenda pia pia, aha nakupenda pia pia pia.
One thing I'll never forget is 10 years before that, one of my favorite reggae artists of all, and will always, I think, be, is Damian Marley, because I love the vibe he brought to reggae and dancehall. And I remember asking Ted when he was in the UK, please get me a Damian Marley album. So he got me the Halfway Tree album. The Halfway Tree is actually it's a place in Jamaica, and one of the most popular symbols over there is a clock. It's like a huge city clock. Yes. So that was one of my favorite albums that I had. I got it in 2003, and 10 years later, I was standing outside the Halfway Tree, shooting my video in Jamaica. I'm like, dude, man. God answers prayers, you know what I mean? And even if you check out on my YouTube channel, the behind the scenes, I'm saying, yo guys, I'm here, I'm outside the clock, it's there, I can go touch it if you want, you know what I mean? So for me, it was a very humbling experience. We had an amazing crew. It was one long day of shooting, from like 5 a.m. in the morning to at night, almost midnight again. But yeah, man, that's what came out, and now Nakupenda Pia, now if it's a song that took off, I think it's that tune, man. That was one of my hugest singles ever. After the Definition album, I dropped 10 Years Wiser, which had now tunes like the Uprising and a couple of other songs on it. 2015, there was a lot of singles I dropped after 10 Years Wiser. That's when now the Nakupenda Pia, the Cecile combination, the Morgan's tune, Mwanake with Jamie Maine. I tell you one thing about that song is anytime I was in a concert anywhere,
Most surprising song.
Mwanake, anytime I was in a concert anywhere, in the middle of even, you call it the most hip hop set, if a DJ dropped the original, the Tiga Kumote, all the gangster will go out the window, guys will get down, my friend. So I was like, man, this jam, man, you know, I need to find the guy who sang this song. So I got in touch with my aunt, and she made the link happen. So I met up with JB, we discussed about it, and we hit the studio. And I got him, the first day he came with his guitarist, we laid Dilly, big up Dilly.
Yeah.
Dilly, man, I need to give him an award.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so we worked on the basic track. He came with the guitarist, he did a lick, the tune. So I got JB to do the chorus and to do a verse. Then now I excused him. I was like, okay, I'll call you back in a day or two. He came back, he listened to the tune, he laughed. He could not believe it. Like, Yanni, you're nuts. How did you come up with this? How did you dance on a Mugithi song?
Yeah, I think that's
like, dude, it sounds good. Yeah. He loved it. That song now, it took off, man.
Every boy around said that me should not marry you. Every girl around said that me should not stay with you.
It was crazy because I started getting demos from River Road artists. Yeah. Guys bringing me the CDs like, yo, let's do a combination and stuff. And that's one thing that I've never shied away from doing fusion, as long as I bring my identity to it. So what happened is JB started performing in street parties, street jams. I started performing in Mugithi shows, and we're throwing it down mad. It was crazy. Mugithi girls love reggae here. It's crazy, man. So I learned so much from that project, man. You know, so as long as you bring your own vibe into a genre, you can come up with a new sound. So the next album I worked on was the Lion album, which for me was a very personal album because I think it really showed a lot of growth sound-wise when it comes to the reggae and dancehall sound. And yeah, we dropped that in 2015. And yeah, here we are now. Alaine was the title track of the album. And it was dedicated to my son, actually. And if you listen to the words of the song, I'm telling him, you're lying like your father. We had a bit of a rough patch with the pregnancy, and we almost lost him to the point where the doctor said, seems like we might need to terminate this. So when I look at my son, man, he's a living miracle. You know what I mean? So and I'm forever grateful to God for coming through, man, because I was like, nah, man, this is not happening. I got on my knees, I prayed, I'm like, nah, man. So he's a fighter, you know what I mean? And I got to thinking about that and like, you know what, man, a lion is a fighter, you know what I mean? So you're a lion like your father. And I'm known for going in when, you know, in anything I do musically, you know what I mean? I'm a fighter when it comes to my career, man. You name it, be it stage, I will go the extra mile to deliver. Be it killing tracks, I'll go the extra mile. Be producing, you know what I mean? So it was in reference to, I was telling him, you're a fighter, you're a lion like your father, man, you know? So that stuck, you know what I mean, ever since I dropped that. And guys have been calling me Wyre the Lion ever since. I've been working on my new album. I was planning to drop it in June, but change of plans. We decided to drop a series of singles before as a lead up to the album. Despite whatever situation you're going through, never forget that you're actually a hero and you can get through this.
How long will you wait for it to see what you will make for?